What's going on, YouTubers? Welcome to another video. So, I apologize. I'm not bringing the boxes downstairs. I'm actually sick again. My freaking cruise got me sick that I went on. I'm never taking a cruise again, by the way. Ever again. I get sick 100% of the time after every cruise. So I'm really like weak right now. Sore throat, runny nose, lightheaded. So I don't really have the energy to carry the massive boxes for this Witchking by Prime 1 Studios. So I ordered this direct. Here's the base. I actually thought this would not be attached, but it is. So this is a 15.5-inch wide Lazy Susan. It does stick out. And I've got this because there's a little styrofoam. This works pretty good in getting the styrofoam out. Witchking's pretty massive, definitely bigger than the the Fell Beast is definitely much bigger than the old Weta bust I used to have. But check out this base. You got these, I don't know the exact term, but like the black gates of Mordor or whatever. Kind of what it looks like with this golden bronze spike thing. Very cool. And then the fields of Rohan, just some rocks and like dirty grass, more or less. And then the Fell Beast, more or less just like upper body. It's kind of like a bust. And we're getting only one wing. Wing comes separate. I'm going to show you the size of this box because it comes literally up to here on me. It's huge for this. Ridiculous. I was like, oh my Jupiter. Already check out the box size of this. You see, absolutely massive. And then here's the ginormous wing and the head of the Fell Beast. And then there's one more box over there. That is the body. So we're going to get this out. Alrighty, folks. So we got the head of the Fell Beast. Pretty massive. Yeah, definitely bigger than Weta. There's the wing. Huge. Very, very big. See next to my foot, it's humongous. Here's the instructions. Alrighty, here's everything else in the other box. Now this is where the normal base would be, but since I did the ultimate, got a second box with that. But should you order, the non-ultimate, you basically don't get this, and you just get this. So there's the Witchking, coat, head, and his weapons, and a few arrows, I think, on the base. Alrighty, so here is the Witchking body. So it looks like he's going to have the cloak, the head, back thing, 2 arms. But there it is. Looks great. Yeah, and that looks like his cloak and head. And that's the back cloak. Weapons. I really wish they included a flaming sword on this. I feel like that was a huge miss. They claim they couldn't get it to work, yet every other studio got it, like Darkseid and Infinity. So I call bull crap. Prime 1 should be giving us the flaming sword, because I would have displayed it. Alrighty, so next thing we did is we put this Rohirrim spear. It goes here into the base. It's broken off right here, so that looks pretty cool. Alrighty, next we added the shoulder pads as well as arrow and a few other like broken like sticks and whatnot here to the base. So that's everything for the base. You have the big spear cut in half, 2 like sticks, probably smaller, I don't know, and then an arrow. Those could also be part of an arrow as well. But there it is so far. Alright, I forgot to actually install this back one. You have to install this first, because these do drape over it. Then we can install the front part. Alrighty, so that is how that more or less looks. This flips out, and then this is like flowing in the wind. I really like that look. I think it's really cool. Alrighty, and here is the portrait. As you can see, mine came broke. And I can't even find the extra spike in the box. So we're going to have to get a replacement. Luckily, it's just the head, so they should be able to replace this, but that's freaking annoying as fuck. And I can't even glue it. So, there you go. The packaging was pretty beat up, if I'm brutally honest. I've been looking for the spike and I can't even find it. Watch, they're going to offer me a partial credit and say, we'll give you $100 and you can keep a spikeless Witch King. Here's the sword. Now, it is a real metal sword and it does look amazing. Alrighty, and then here is the like mace thing. It's dangling just right above the Witch King's, or the Felbeast's spikes. We also installed this back spike. The only other thing left is the giant wing, but I'm actually going to move it into the room first before I install that, because that's going to make it a lot heavier and be more difficult to move. So we'll move it into the Lord of the Rings room and then attach that giant wing. And I just wanted to show you guys, that is where the head thing went. Got stuck in the styrofoam. Alrighty, YouTubers, so we got it all set up. Now, installing this wing thing was incredibly difficult. Like, holy frick. It was so hard. I had to heat up everything, use like a knife to dig the hole bigger, and use enough strength equivalent to probably 2 people to get that in. And it barely got in. There's also a nasty seam line. Kind of hard to see. Obviously, you have to like look for it. From normal viewing, it is blocked, thank goodness. But that was a pain, and it does actually touch the ground, which is fine. You know, considering the weight, if it was dangling, I feel like it'd cause some issues. So it does give the statue a nice like circular feel to it. You know, I can't find my tape measure for the life of me, so I wanted to measure it. But there are official dimensions on, you know, Prime 1 Sideshow's website. But here it is. Initial impressions. I wonder if this is scaled correctly, because the Witch King is supposed to be 7 feet 1 inches tall, according to Google. And I don't know, he just feels a tad small. You know, like his body's not as big as like the Berserker, for example, and he's not wearing tons of garments. He's somewhat similar to the Nazgul, I would say. Nazgul's cape is a little more flared out, so I don't know, I mean, it's probably accurate. I believe Darkseid's also about the same size. But overall, I mean, it is a big piece, no doubt. They just made these guys stand super tall in their base, so it makes them look very big. You know, like, look at Legolas. He's like 8 inches high. Aragorn's a solid like 6 inches. He's only about 4 inches, maybe. So, but yeah, there he is. He is the biggest of all the 1/4 minus Sauron. You know, the previous biggest I'd say is probably the Nazgul, since you had 4 of them. You know, Legolas is, you know, quite a big one as well. But, of course, you know, the biggest reason this has so much presence is the giant Felbeast. You know, and I got Lil Felbeast down there from Iron Studios, a full version. This one definitely looks substantially better. You know, like the eyes look really good, very glossy, the mouth. Yeah, it's also very, like, muddy as well. No, there's lots of, like, mud throughout its teeth, I noticed. You know, and then, like, look at this one, for example. And this one doesn't even have the mask thing. It's missing it. That definitely looks much cooler. I've always preferred it with, like, the mask versus without one. I just think it looks cooler. You know, similar to my old Weta one. Yeah, but overall, the Felbeast is definitely really cool. It's freaking styrofoam everywhere. There's so much styrofoam in this piece. That wing is ridiculously big. You know, it just takes up so much. Definitely makes the piece a lot wider. You know. It is pretty thick, though. You know, you look at this. It's a big boy. And then... So, yeah, and then the overall base I do like quite a bit. Of course, you know, with the Felbeast, he does block a lot of the base, you know. Granted, most of the base is very similar, just like the golden spikes with, like, the Gates of Mordor. So, that's fine. It's not like it's, you know, anything additional. But you can see all the spears and, you know, everything on top really good. You can see the Witch King perfectly fine. The biggest miss is the lack of the flaming sword. I probably would want to make him a little bit girthier. When it comes to the actual Witch King, just like looking at him, you know, like his armor, the way they did the sculpted cloth, like hanging up, flying over and flaying, I think it looks the best of all the Witch Kings. You know, like, I had the old Sideshow one, which is just mixed media, kind of a weird pose. I didn't have the exclusive, which was a fire sword. There's the dark side, which is basically the exact same pose. It doesn't have a fell beast, and it has a different base. Their base is pretty decent. I'd have to see it in person to truly judge. They didn't do like this, you know, giant swaying over, and I mean, I really like the way they did the garments. It just looks really good. It's also very weathered, you know, especially at the bottom. You know, this is fully sculpted, not mixed media. You know, just like the Nazgul, and pretty much the entire Lord of the Rings line is fully sculpted except for his cape. You know, everything else is fully sculpted on everything. Well, I guess that flag is mixed media. And then, of course, Saruman for me is mixed media. It's Sideshow. I guess technically this does have this like leather rope thing, you know, where he, almost like the harness, I suppose, so he can hold it and direct this. Yeah, it does have excellent textures, of course. You know, here's like the belt. Really fine textures. It's very similar to the Nazgul, of course. You know, and then the portrait. He always had such a cool looking portrait. You can see, you know, part of the damage right there, of course, so I am requesting, of course, a replacement portrait, because I want it mint. But I'm glad I at least found the spike. You know, which is good. Yeah, and he does have very weathered leg armor as well. Towards the bottom of all of his cloths, it's, you know, very, like, brownish. You know, because it's, like, dragging in the mud and dirt. He's fighting in a battle. So I'm very happy that the sword is real metal, and it does look excellent. You know, it's definitely much better than my old Sideshow sword. That one was just PVC. But it's sharp, it's weathered, there's lots of scratches, the handle looks good, his arm detail right here looks excellent. This thing also looks really good. I just hope over time, like, this chain doesn't break. I mean, this isn't super heavy, but still, I'd hate for it to just, like, snap right there. You know. This looks great. Yeah, like, all the helmet detail looks really good. You know, I don't got any complaints in terms of that. So, I mean, overall, it's a really cool piece, no doubt. I love this Lord of the Rings line. I think it's amazing. You know, absolutely incredible. My plan is going to be, when Gandalf eventually arrives, he'll, you know, go there. I want all the good guys surrounding Sauron and the villains below. So we'll remove those two orcs. I actually plan to remove all this. I want to get rid of it. I don't use it. I'm going to remove this and that fan. And probably do the two orcs right there. One higher and one lower. Because that would work. They're not super big, and I don't have anywhere else to put them, so I figured, why not just put them there? You know, I'll keep the top black part till right there, and then, yeah, do the two orcs, you know, like him in the front, him in the back on a riser, and then do Nazgul, Witch King. I feel like Witch King will go better on the left side, considering, you know, the way he's posed, and, yeah, definitely better, like, this angle versus this. You know, you get better angles from this side. And he also works better on the right side anyways. I mean, he works better on either, honestly. Nevertheless, we're going to eventually put him down low. For now, he's going to stay up top until Gandalf arrives. Gandalf, I ordered through Spec Fiction. So he's usually about 3 to 4 months behind once Prime 1 gets in stock. And so his ETA is like, what? I think April to June right now. So I would estimate I'll probably get Gandalf, if it ships in that time frame, around September, October. You know, so definitely probably this year. I went through Spec just because he had a much better price. Like, he gave me a shipped price that was quite a bit, you know, several $100 cheaper than Prime 1 Direct. The only thing I like doing with Prime 1 Direct is, one, you are going to get it the quickest. Two, when there is issues, you can get replacement. You know, through spec, I doubt he'd be able to get you replacement parts. If anything, he would help you professionally repair it, but it's also a huge hassle. You know, I hate having to ship something off, get it repaired, then when it ships back to you, what if it gets damaged again? I hate that. So I'd rather just get, you know, like a brand new part. Much less likely it will break. But I did choose to go with him, with Gandalf, because I was saving too much money to, you know, too much money to pass up. But with this one, I'll definitely get that replacement head. But there it is, the Lord of the Rings setup. Very happy with the Witch King. It is miles better than the old Sideshow one I had. That one is trash in comparison. Granted, that one goes for what, $250 now? This one is $2,000. I was really surprised how big the box was that held the, you know, the Fell Beast and base. Like, that was a huge box. It kind of makes sense now why shipping was, what was it, like close to $500. The wild thing is, this was more expensive than this, believe it or not. I think, I'm very glad Sauron was one of the first 1/4 scales they did, because if they did him now, he would be over $3,000. Shipping would be $800. He would be priced at $26.99 or $3K. You know, he would be extremely expensive. But because he was released a little bit before, you know, the giant price gouging and shipping gouging, you know, his price was incredible. It was like $1,600, where he's $2,000. Gandalf will actually be the most expensive in the line. So it's wild. I still think Sauron is the best of the entire line. I don't think Gandalf will defeat it. Witch King does not defeat him. Sauron is the definite best of the Lord of the Rings line. Like, it's indisputable. He's just so big, and he has the, you know, the coolest base. Now, the Witch King probably has the second coolest base, I will say. The, you know, Fell Beast is incredible. You know, I love that all their bases, you know, technically this one, you get 3, you know, ring wraiths. So that's part of that base. Then the underbase is cool. This, you get those 3 ghosts. Him, you get a half a Uruk-hai chopped in half. Him, you get heads and half an Uruk-hai in the back. Swords. Frodo, the webs, and I guess technically you can kind of say Gollum. So all the bases are just incredibly cool. The weakest one among them all definitely is Lurtz amongst Prem 1. If we're going to say the weakest of them all, it's going to be my Sideshow stuff. Nevertheless, I will say Witch King is the second best statue. Overall, the biggest reason is the Fell Beast. If I didn't have the Fell Beast, I wouldn't say it was better than, like, you know, Legolas or Aragorn, or even the Nazgul. It's the Fell Beast that does bring it up. So that's why I feel like you gotta go with the ultimate version on this. You gotta go ultimate. I know it's, you know, quite a bit more expensive, but it makes it a special piece. It gives it tons of presence, and it's incredibly cool just having, you know, basically like a dragon. You know, it's not a traditional dragon, but Lord of the Rings, like, dragon type creature. So extremely cool. Overall, I'd probably give it like maybe a 9 out of 10. Like I said, I wish it was a little bit bigger, just like the character himself. I would probably increase the size 10 to 15% and then give him a flaming sword. Then it would be a 10. That would be the only 2 things I would change. Just make him a little bit girthier, thicker, taller. Flaming sword, ideally a flaming metal sword if possible. Now, maybe do the same flaming effect they did on him. Or even, like, he has a flaming sword. You could do it similar to that. And if it had light up, that would be sick. Anyways, let me know what you guys think of the Witch King. Super, super cool piece. So, next on the docket, folks, is going to be Queen Alien Bust. We're getting that back, so we're going to do a new video on that. So, of course, it's going to go right there. Very excited to get that back. I've been missing it. You know, it is such a good bust. So, we'll get that back, and then it completes the AVP wall again. You know, for how many at the time? Goodness. Nevertheless, that is the next statue that should be arriving, along with one other special one I will keep a secret. And lots of stuff is shipping once Chinese New Year opens, so we'll have plenty of good content coming soon. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video. If you're looking to buy anything, use the links below, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.